That's why we bow down to Amy Lee.
I held you through all of these years.
Gosh, isn't she just the most amazing singer? Kia ora and welcome. My name's ZoeStibi and I am your vocal coach for today. We're taking a look at Amy Lee with my Immortal. Let's see what she's up to with her vocal technique. I mean, this woman is like the master. She basically made everyone want to sing. How can you sing really high, intense voice and really quietly? Let's see what she's up to.
I'm so tired of being suppressed by all my childish fears. And if you're after me, I wish that you would just leave, 'cause your presence still lingers here.
Gosh, isn't she just the most amazing singer? So we're noticing, obviously, the sound is a little bit darker than we're maybe used to in the original song. Why is that? Because she got older, people. Yeah, as we age, the larynx drops over time, so the sound is going to then appear to be darker, or the timbre changes to be a little bit darker. So that's why it's a little bit darker. Let's just go back on that because we're going, I'm so tired of being here. Thinner vocal folds in that time. I think she's on the A3 there below middle C. So this is quite low, thinner vocal folds. Let's just listen to that again.
I'm so tired of being suppressed by all my childish fears. And if you're after me, I wish that you would just leave, 'cause your presence still lingers here, and it won't leave me alone. These wounds won't seem to heal. This pain is just too real.
That's why we bow down to Amy Lee. This pain is it's freaking hard. Thinner vocal folds, but not too thin. When I go, this pain is just too real. She's got like quite a decent amount of body in those vocal folds. So when we got this first about, I'm so tired being here, she's kind of surging a little bit in the sound. We're hearing a little bit of breath, a little bit of like no breath there. Who cares really? That's a lot to do with the artistry. I would not suggest that you go and copy exactly that. It has to come from an emotional place, especially when you're singing in this style of singing. You can hear like quite a lot of that moan in the sound. That's caused by the thyroid cartilage tipping forward, and that's the main difference between speaking and singing though.
Childish fears. And if you're after me, I wish that you would just leave, 'cause your presence still lingers here, and it won't leave me alone. These wounds won't seem to heal. This pain is just too real, and there's just too much.
So we're seeing there as well, she's got lovely short, sharp, high breaths, and you might think, that's totally different to what I know about breathing. Well, we don't always breathe in the same way. It's really dependent on the type of singing that we're doing. So this pain is just too real. We don't want any breath in the sound, and we want closed vocal folds. So it goes to, go figure, shorter, sharper, high breaths, engaging through the top muscles in the back. Now, don't look at Amy Lee and go like, oh, but she's got her shoulders crunched forward. Like, she's been singing the song for like 20 years, okay? I'm fairly certain she could sing this with a head cold. You might not be able to, though.
These wounds won't seem to heal. This pain is just too real, and there's just too much that time cannot erase. When you cried, I'd wipe away all of your tears. When you'd scream, I'd fight away all of your fears.
So you can hear, when you scream, I'd fight away. And it appears that she's getting a little bit louder. That's probably due to the fact that her mouth is in more of a trumpet shape. Fight away Immediately when we get that trumpet shape in the mouth, or we go into more of those open vowels, that's when the sound sort of, it appears to be louder and a little bit darker, but it probably is the same position with the vocal folds themselves. This is just like, I can just feel my throat like doing this with her, and this is a challenging thing, yeah?
There's just too much that time cannot erase. When you cried, I'd wipe away all of your tears. When you'd scream, I'd fight away all of your fear.
So you go, you scream, I'd fight away all of your fears. And she swapped from that thicker vocal fold action. Again, she's still in a head voice quality, still in those thinner vocal folds, but she just beefed them up a little bit. All of your fears. And she opened up the vocal folds for the all of your fears. As I say, I don't want you to copy exactly what Amy Lee is doing. She's doing this from an emotional place. You can see that she's feeling everything that she's singing. So I want you to make decisions based on what you feel the song means to you. We've got a lot of tension going on in this hand, down on the side, a lot of tension in the hands here. We'll talk a little bit about that in the next break.
I'd fight away all of your fears, and I held you through all of these years, but you still had.
So you can see there with the hands, I really genuinely believe she's working really hard to keep that sound thin. Fight away all of your fears. We've got slightly dropped larynx there, but really thin vocal folds. And I think that work is just being transferred. The effort that she's using here is being transferred into her hands, because tension travels. So what I'd really want you to do if you're struggling with this kind of thing is to have your shoulders go back and down, and then really try and shake out your hands while you're singing this, because tension does travel. But when we start to like tense in the hands, I don't know if you try this with me now, I can already feel like the tension going on down here in the back. So I don't need this tension in my hands because I might just want it to have in my back. So if I shake my hands, I can actually get a much better engagement in my back muscles than putting all of the effort here. There we go. So we can really feel that I feel like she's trying to hold herself back. And again, we've got these hands going. We're seeing quite a lot of jaw kind of twitching and a lot of twitching going on here. Again, that's a little bit of a sign of quite a lot of work going on in terms of the effort that she's needing to sustain that type of sound. Now, staying in sob like that, if you're not singing that in that style for ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, is really challenging, because you can hear now her vocal folds want to open. Let's just go back on that. We've got a slightly breathier tone now going into the second part of the song.
Your face it haunts my once pleasant dreams. Your voice it chased away all the sanity in me. These wounds won't seem to heal. So we're getting a sanity in me, and then she's kind of going from the me, bringing the vocal folds together. So when we hear that, we can crescendo on those notes. That's really telling my ears we are not in falsetto. We are just in a breathy, thinner vocal fold where the vocal folds open at the back. And I really do think she's bringing in a little bit of the tongue root there, me, to make that sanity in me. She's just pulling back a little bit and tensing here, which is kind of creating that darkened sound. We'll talk a little bit about that in the next break, because that is a thing that a number of singers do, and I think she's going to do it as she's going to beef up the sound and get louder. These wounds won't seem to heal.
actually really like to hear the song from when she was younger. Not because I believe that it would have been better or anything. It's interesting to know when she's with the band. When you are singing songs like this, which are, supposed to be with a rock band behind them in a different setting, obviously with no one dancing and none of the typical, she's singing with an orchestra. Of course, it's not like that, Zoe. The voice is very naked in this song, and the voice is not supposed to be as naked in that band context. So you can kind of hear these surgings of the notes. As I say, I think that's her way of either, needing to do that and to really try and stay in that vocal quality that she's in. Or it's telling me that that's kind of what she always did, but the band kind of carried it a little bit. It didn't sound quite as stark as what we're experiencing here. So you can hear self when she's going to these vowels. It's kind of like almost the sound is like clicking into place.
I've tried so hard to tell myself that you're good, but though you're still with me, I've been alone.
It's interesting actually that we have very little vibrato in her sound whatsoever. Now, vibrato is not a sign of good singing. Some people have a lot of vibrato, some people have less vibrato, but it's really created by kind of the perfect amount of breath hitting the vocal fold closure, and that rippling effect causes the larynx to then shake. If we have too much pressure on the vocal folds, we won't have any vibrato. If we have too little pressure on the vocal folds, we just have a whole bunch of air or no vibrato. Even when she sings, and she kind of like lands on that belted note. Let's watch that whole section again, because she's really surging in this.
I've tried so hard to tell myself that you're good.
You can kind of feel like every time she says a consonant, there's like a little bit of air coming through. Self that, it's kind of like that surging. I'm not sure if it's coming through intentionally through an artistic interpretation, or if it's coming through because when we say a consonant, breath comes through. So this might be something that you struggle with as well. But what we'd really want, I try so hard to tell. So we're thinking more about that entire phrase, singing through all of those consonants. But again, it's really, I'm not poo-pooing Amy. She's an amazing singer. Obviously, she wrote the song. Like, she can do whatever the hell she wants with it. I'm just saying for you, if you're singing the song, don't try and copy what she's doing right now. So again, I'm sorry to like cut at the same space because you could la, and you heard this and you heard this kind of the sound go and suddenly open up. We're going to watch that again. So that's when we call this park and bark. That's not a technical term. That's also not poo-pooing her. That's just kind of what we singing teachers call it, where you land on the note and you can kind of sit in that belt for a really, really long period of time. It's not a very movable tone. It's a very stable tone because you've just kind of sat on it. And let's just listen to that again so you can really hear that the sound goes, really opens up. And that's really what's signaling to the ears that that's gone into a belt.
When you cried, I'd wipe away all of your tears. When you'd scream, I'd fight away all of your fears. And I
and we were really like, literally the entire song is sitting right up there at the top of the passaggio. Well, I know she's been singing this a long time, and I know she could do this probably on any day of the week, but you can really see now as we're getting to the end of the song, you can see that she's bringing the shoulders back and down. They are moving a little bit. So again, we're getting a little bit of twitching going on. I would really say if you're looking to stabilize the tone, you can see that she's wanting to like open up the arms a little bit. That way we're going to stabilize through those larger muscles in the back to really hold on to that tone.
You still
Okay, so we're going to ignore those couple of out of tune notes there because it's literally like maybe 3 or 4 in amongst an entire range of notes of the song. Singing in a live context is just like that, and this is a living instrument, so I'm sure she's well aware that she sang a little bit out of tune. And you know what? It doesn't really matter. This also just shows us that she's singing live. So now we've gone, oh, me. She's come a little bit close to the microphone. Really important, especially when we're singing with that breathy quality. Or we've gone into a bit more of I don't think she's gone to falsetto, to be honest. I think it's still a breathy thin fold. She's come right close to the microphone. We've got to keep the volume low in order to help with the pitching. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think she's so fantastic and so lovely to see. You know, she had a long time away from singing and then she's coming back and performing. I really love it. When was that? Let's just have a little look. So that was 3 years ago. Cool. And actually it was from the Synthesis live with their studio album from 2017. So I really, really love that when artists change their live performances to the CD or the album that we're listening to, because it just shows another level of, firstly, of like musicality, but also makes it interesting for the listener to go and say, oh wow, that's a totally new interpretation of the album, and I really, really love it. So I would probably like to see a little bit more stability going on in here in the upper body. I think sometimes when people rely, look, and I'm saying Amy Lee is amazing. She's a very long career. She can do whatever she wants. I'm just saying for you, if you're looking for a long career in singing, I really want you to be focusing on, can you release a little bit of that tension? Can you sing without the hands, and then the hands become part of your performance? That you don't necessarily need to have them in there, but you add them in there to kind of give us the impression of that work that you're putting into in your song, rather than kind of having it painted throughout the whole thing. But if you want to work on your performance in singing and you're like, hey Zoe, I just really need some feedback on what I'm actually doing. Is this right? Does this look weird? Is this something that I could use in a performance situation? That really requires one-to-one feedback. So you can have a look at the link in the description below, because my online singing school, the Vocal Academy, is accepting new students, and we do help singers with these types of performance situations. And you can join one of our fantastic qualified coaches to work on songs exactly like this. And if you're actually wanting to sing this like Amy Lee, we have coaches that will help you to sing with that amount of precision through our program at the Vocal Academy. So check it out in the description below. Amy Lee is amazing. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about that performance. And if you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. It really does help me. I'm a full-time singing teacher all day, every day, and it really does help me to carve out more time in my working week to help singers like yourself here for free on YouTube. Whole bunch of freebies are down below, and check out some Amy Lee up here. Just remember, I really genuinely believe that anyone can learn to sing, and I just want to help you to reach your voice goals. Mwah! Happy singing, Kai ki tano.